Oh, hello. Hello. Um, I'm trying to sound enthusiastic, but I listened to a recording of myself earlier for test and to see if the microphone was working just fine. And it's a little on the quiet side. In fact, like all of this is on the quiet side. I can't tell if I can turn it up or not. But no, I realized that I basically sound like a corpse. Like, I'm just dead. But that's fine. I don't think I can turn this up anymore. No, this is as loud as it gets. Otherwise, I have to like ram it in my face, and I need more books to prop it on. Let me try it. Give me. Alright. Alright, how's that? It's right up next to my face now. So, we're playing Metroid Fusion. One of the pretty much, well, until Samus Returns, this was pretty much the last Metroid game. That was a Metroid game. Like traditional Metroid. And this is, we're gonna just, I'm going to just burn right through this game. Call it like a slow speed run. This game's not particularly long, and I'm like, this isn't like, I don't mean that like it's a real speed run. It's clearly not. I'm just gonna be playing the game casually, but because I know where to go, I know how to play it. It's a fairly short game. This won't take long at all. And if I did this, yes, I saw, this is my completed save file from before, like a long time ago. This is emulated. I don't own a game card, but I do own the cartridge, and maybe I'll put like a picture of the cartridge I own. I know this game very well, so I'll just burn right through it. I feel kind of bad for anyone who hasn't like played or seen the intro, because the save file I have is right at the very beginning, which skips like a minute or two of just talking. To not spoil another game, because part of this game's plot starts in Metroid 2, which is way earlier, and then comes back in this, but essentially Samus Aeronus is going to, well, she gets hired by the Galactic Federation to escort some scientists to do a thing, and she comes across some strange alien life form, and then it attacks her, and then she gets infected by it, and then she has like a stroke in her ship and crashes the ship into an asteroid belt, which is pretty drastic, but she's, I don't know, pulled out of the wreckage at, well no, she gets an escape pod at the last second. Her cockpit like flies out, and then she's retrieved, and she's horribly wounded, and she needs to perform surgery, and that's why her suit's gone. And now the opening hook of this game is this. There's your opening hook. So we're on BSL, which is Biologic Space Research Biologic Space Laboratories. I'm pretty sure that's the acronym. And here's the opening plot. Well, the part that's relevant to us and why this all happens. By X parasites, the cause of the explosion is unclear. Investigate. It's over there. Go. So already, if you're used to other Metroid games, even, well, maybe not Zero Mission, but especially if you're a fan of Super Metroid, and I know like pretty much everyone's a fan of Super Metroid, you're already taken aback by the fact that they're telling you what to do. And it's one of the reasons why Metroid Fusion is one of, I don't think it's classifiable as like black sheep, kind of different, but this game definitely doesn't get like 10 out of 10 scores from some people on the grounds that it does a whole lot different. And I still can't tell if this is too quiet, but I'll be trying my best. I'm watching the mixer. Actually, is it even recording audio? I can't tell if OBS can even hear the game. I turned it down because I didn't want it to overshadow me in the test recording. It was just way too loud and you couldn't hear me. Except you couldn't hear me in general because I was too quiet. The microphone was too far from me. So we're just gonna go and investigate. But before I lose my train of thought, and I'm gonna lose my train of thought. I apologize if I start talking about something, and no, this is far too loud. It's because there was like literally no noise. That's why I wasn't hearing anything. So we just killed the thing. Yeah, I'm already like, so much is happening and it's just terrible. Like, to me, not the game. Game's fine. I like this game. That's why I'm playing it. That's why I played it like so many times. I'm just gonna keep losing my track. So, Super Metroid. Oh boy. We're gonna talk a lot about this game because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make a video like this in this sort of really long, rambly format. And I'm not reading any of this. If you want to read it, go right ahead. Oh god. And now I'm coming to two different things. I want to talk about like the story and my relation with it, but also Super Metroid. I'll talk about the game. So, I could read all this. I feel kind of bad not reading it for people who want to know what the game is about. I just, like, the reason I skipped that opening cutscene and the reason why I'm not focusing on any of this, because I just know what to do, and I don't want to sound like superior, pretentious, like patrician kind of attitude. That's literally just how it is. I just know how to play this game because I played it way too much when I was a kid. I play it too much like now. So, all of the dialogue I probably won't read. Unless, if I'm not talking about anything, because I was talking about something and I was like, oh, there's dialogue, I'm just gonna absentmindedly mash through it. But, I apologize if that's what you wanted. We're gonna get missiles. We're gonna download them. Insert obligatory DLC joke, because DLC is great. I already like jumped off of the Super Metroid train and I jumped into something else. I'll be sure to talk about Super Metroid because it's something I want to like discuss, because like, I mean, I don't want to make you. For those of you who like that game, and I understand why you like that game, it's because it's, well, there are like reasons why that game is so popular, and I'm still concerned that this is too loud. Let me just turn it down a touch. No, I understand why people like that game, and I don't think it's a bad game. It's just that personally, it's just not for me, because it's a non-linear game. And as much as I like to tell myself that I love non-linear games, that game makes me want to die, in the same way that like Symphony of the Night makes me want to die. But I'll talk about that later. I made a DLC joke, like a meta joke or anti-joke. Humor isn't my strong suit. But no, DLC sucks. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that DLC sucks. Last time I bought DLC and I didn't regret it, and I mean, I really mean the last time I bought DLC, aka the last time I didn't pirate the DLC, because I pirate like half of the things in my, more than half of the games I own. Well, maybe not 3DS games, because I actually bought a lot of them for some reason. And that's not including the ones that like my brother has bought. Oh, I guess I should explain. We're gonna go kill a boss soon. We're gonna get Morph Ball. So the power went out. Something happened. I don't even know what happened, but the power's out now. I lost my train of thought. No, the last time I bought DLC and it was like, I didn't immediately regret it, was Fantasy Life. That game's great. And I'm starting to realize why I said to myself, you sound like a corpse. It's because I talk like a corpse. No, Fantasy Life has great DLC. Origin Isle, it's like $10, and it's pretty much just like a whole chunk of the game given to you again. You could definitely argue that it's just like the game, like the unfinished part of the game sold to you. But I felt like the game was pretty complete, like without it. and then the Orange Island was like, whoa, you get all this cool stuff. It really makes you excited to play it again. And not even play it again, but like... alright, this is a boss. So, we're just gonna like, shoot him. He's just gonna die soon. I hope I don't run out of missiles. I want at least one missile, because I want to hit him. Got him. Oh, got him. I said got him. No. My train of thought just went, like, it just crashed. Train wreck. Choo choo. We got more ball. Excellent. That's great. We're making great progress. It's, like, it's already been 10 minutes. I don't even know if I want to, like, split this. I don't know if YouTube will let me, record this in full, like, the full hour segment, because it used, like, when, I don't know, I came into YouTube, like, not right in the beginning, but fairly early, and I remember that if you weren't, like, acknowledged by YouTube, like, if you hadn't been uploading stuff before, they wouldn't let you upload stuff longer than, like, a certain time frame. So I don't know if they'll let me upload a full 1 hour segment of this whole game. We were talking about DLC. Also, stuff's happening. Feel free to read it, but I'm trying to think. Like, there's a reason why I pirate DLC, and I'm openly saying that, because you have to realize just that it's not worth it. It's usually not worth it. Even if the stuff's like really cool, it's usually just not worth it. Like, oh god. Have any of you even like played Shadows of Valentia, the Fire Emblem game, the remake of Gaiden, which is one of the worst Fire Emblem games ever? Not Shadows of Valentia, but Gaiden. And then just look at the DLC for that game. It's like $40, and like a third of it is worth it. Especially, well, I mean, honestly, if you're homebrewing it, you probably have the, you know, the capabilities to just get the DLC for free. But a lot of stuff in that game, from the DLC, just like, no, you can get that stuff like in the game. Well, some of it you can't, like, well, Noah's Gift is free. That's a free DLC, but the only ones you really want are like Inner Sanctum, Wealth Over Health, the DLC packs that let you just get more stuff for free. And if you're the kind of player who likes to grind it out and get a super strong army like I do, which is why I played a lot of Fates and Awakening, because I liked maxing out all my units, even the ones I hated, like Arthur, then you would get that DLC for that. Also, something just broke the elevator. I don't even know what he broke. He broke the door in part of the wall. So, that's the elevator. I'm assuming something that was in that left side of the room had like electronics or something important to the elevator. So we're in Sector 1, and what do we gotta do? Well, there's these. This is a recreation of SR388, which is why it's called SRX. SR388 being the place where the X-Parasites were originally found, which is why this looks kind of like Metroid 2, if you ever played Metroid 2. Or if you were lucky enough to play AMR2, which I played very briefly, when it was like still an alpha or a beta, and then it got taken down. In fact, I imagine they ripped sprites directly from this game for that game, because like the likeness is just, you already have like a high quality sprite, so why not just use it? Makes sense. No, my train of thought's just gone. So I was about to explain what we're supposed to be doing. So if you just saw it, we have to clear out these atmospheric stabilizers. So it's like, imagine all of these rooms are like controlled by a giant radiator, and DX are trying to use these like giant radiators to breed faster, because that's science. So we have to clear them out. You know, how that's gonna really stop them permanently is beyond me. Also, he dodged that. How did you dodge that? These are masterminds. They're like ninjas. I made the mistake going in that room. That's a waste of time. Because we'll be going through here again. Spoiler alert. In fact, we don't come back here until like... This is like the one sector we don't ever come back to. Until we're near the end of the game. Like all the other sectors, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we all run through again. Like another time at least. And not just because like we feel like it, but because there's like actual plot relevance to it. Whereas when we're coming back through this sector again, we're literally just passing through. But yeah. No, I think I cleared up everything I was just talking about. DLC and silly things. Oh god. Because this game is... This will be a cinch. Ah, yeah. Of course. Just as I say that, I miss. Because this controller, man, I don't want to sound like I'm whining, but this controller isn't the best. This is a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and I mean, I don't want to sound like it's a terrible controller. It's a good controller. It works. I play Splatoon 2 with it. But the problem I have with this is the D-pad. I'm playing this with the D-pad, not the stick, because it's a Metroid game. It's a Game Boy game. I'm not gonna use a stick to control it. And wow, there's a lot of boys here. I'm just gonna... Later, nerd. No, the D-pad in this is like squisherinos. And I hope I don't sound like I have a cold. I just always have a cold because that's how my throat works apparently. It's just always like congested with something. It might be because I live in Canada. Canada's cold. The weather's been really odd recently. Hopefully I don't run out of missiles. No. The weather's actually been strange for, well, Canada. The entirety of January was pretty much just like nothing. It was just like clouds. But then all of a sudden February it was like, hey, we're gonna give you like a week full of snow. Oh, I messed this up. I don't even think I got the double hit. But, no, I just cheesed him. I like how I'm just, like, all of this stuff is happening, and I'm just talking over it. Like, nothing really interesting is going on. Because, like, to me, nothing interesting is going on. But to you, I'm sure this is all new and exciting. There's missiles over there on the left. I don't want them. If it was an E-Tank, I'd totally get it. We have Charge Beam. And thank God Charge Beam is actually, like, useful. Because, like... Okay, I guess I can talk about Super Metroid. I played Super Metroid again on emulator because I don't own an SNES. I would have played it on Wii U Virtual Console if I, like, remembered that that was a thing. I'm just gonna get this because I feel like it. I know I didn't want the other one, but this one's, like, fun if I can get my controller to work. But, like, Charge Beam in this game just... Like, I just remembered how bad Charge Beam is in the other game, in Super Metroid, because it does, like, nothing. Like, I'm sure if you've played it, you know why that is. Charge Beam has a one use, and it's charge jumping, and charge jumping has one use, and that's to cheese Phantoon, because Phantoon can't hurt you if you're charge jumping. Which, I hope I didn't spoil something for any of you, but that's how you beat Phantoon. If you thought Phantoon was a hard boss, he's not. Just charge jump, and his fires can't even hit you. It's great. Speaking of difficulty, like, this is supposedly the hardest Metroid game. And I'm sure it is for most people. I mean, again, I don't want to sound like an asshole. Oops, I swore. But... I mean, yeah, because I've played this game, like, forever, so I know how to do it. I know how to play everything. I know how to deal with all the bosses. I know what all the sucker punches are, where all the hidden things are, well, most of the hidden things, at least. And the reason why it's hard is just because you take a lot of damage in this game. So if you don't know what's going on, and you don't know how the bosses work, and you don't know what to do, you're just going to take damage, and each bit of damage is just going to hurt like, a lot. Whereas in Super Metroid's really easy, and I mean super easy. Well, not super easy. I'm sure like easiest game could go to like Kirby's Epic Yarn, which like a lot of people cite as the easiest game ever. Well, I'm just assuming that. That's like anecdotal. I remember reading an IGN review that was like, this game's piss easy, so that means it's bad. And I don't think easy games are bad, not by any means. It's just that, well, if you don't know why Kirby's Epic Yarn is easy, it's because you can't die in that game. You literally just don't ever die. You can take hits, but you'll never die. I hope you like read that, because this is a plot. Easy games aren't bad, but Super Metroid, just like the difficulty in that game just sort of makes so much of it laughable. Like a lot of people say that game is like really spooky and like has good atmosphere, and I can't agree with that, because like Meridia has good atmosphere, and that's because it has good music. Turian also has okay music, but that's because like Turian's iconic music. I'll just explain what's going on in case you aren't able to read it because I'm mashing it. So we need to get to that data room in the bottom left, but it's blocked by blue. So if you looked on the map earlier, you see the locks in the top right. So instead of missile doors, you just have locks. And in order to open the locks on the certain doors with the color, you have to go to the security room. And of course, because they're a security room, it's not on the map, because you don't want random people knowing where the security room is. That's like super important. It's secure. It's called a security room. It should be secure. But no, people say Super Metroid has like amazing atmosphere, and the reason why the difficulty of that game makes that statement hard to take seriously is because, like, at the start of the game, well, before I get into the game itself, of course the premise should be scary. Like, literally every one of the Metroid games could be a horror, like, film if you wrote it right. Because, like, Super Metroid's plot is you're Samus Aranus, and the Metroid has been stolen by a space dragon lizard man. The fate of the universe rests in your hand. That's like a scary plot, or well, that's like a really important plot. Like if you were doing that, if you were on a solo mission to save the entire dang universe, you'd probably be kind of scared. And I missed. Damn it. And like this game too, there's an explosion on a spaceship. It's like all human life is gone. It's dark. It's dark. That should be scary. There's aliens, monsters everywhere. They want you dead. You're alone. Like, I don't want to ever hear the word isolation in Metroid ever again, because it just doesn't work. Because like even this game isn't that scary, and this game is certainly a lot scarier than Super Metroid because this game has like more towards the atmosphere, the music and the ambience is a lot scarier. Super Metroid, and also the difficulty. I was talking about the difficulty, and I completely forgot. Because like, oh, oops, wrong way. I got him. Oh, if you've played Super Metroid, then you know. Like, so the game's, so the premise should be scary, right? But you start the game and it's like, okay, it's empty. That's kind of spooky. And then you're walking around. You get no, you don't get missiles. You get. Do you get bombs? I think you get You get morph ball and then missiles and then bombs, I think. And then afterwards, you pass through the ruins of Turian. And what a surprise when you're on your way back after you get bombs or missiles or whatever. There's like space pirates and everything. And if you've never played Metroid, then like the space pirates are giant lobsters. And like that shit's scary. I mean, it should be scary, right? Because they're giant lobsters, and they appeared out of nowhere. It's like they're following you. Like, how would you feel if you walked like through a room, like got something, and then you were walking back and giant lobsters were there? That shit that you don't forget that kind of shit. But no, it turns out that they die in one shot, and the fact that your bullets are like puny in comparison just makes it like even more laughable. Like there are these giant guys, and they're taller than you. They're bigger than you, and you just blow them up in a single shot. You like a tiny pellet. Like, you saw how big my shots were at the start of the game. Imagine one of those, like, just killing an enemy. Even that tiny, like, frog spinning thing, that took 2 hits to kill. The giant space pirates took 1 shot to kill. It doesn't set the tone at all. And so for the majority of the game, like, anything that comes in your way is, like, it just dies instantly. And it's like, that's not kind of scary. Like, the premise is scary, but when you realize, like, oh, I'm in a spacesuit, and it protects me, and my gun kills everything, like, for me. Also, I went the wrong way. Then, it's not that scary. Because you have this gun that just kills everything. Like, if joining the army meant you got a suit that protected you from, like, rocket blasts and bullets, then, like, everyone would be in the army, because that shit sounds so easy. Like, I just gotta shoot these guys who die in 1 hit with, like, my infinite ammo machine gun, and I'm, like, nearly indestructible. Sign me up. We're at the boss, by the way. We're about to get high jump. I said this game was short. I mean, we're making quick progress. This game is very short. And I don't think that's necessarily bad. Again, Super Metroid does, like, a lot of stuff I don't like, but it's not a bad game. I can't say it's a bad game. The graphics are good, the gameplay is fine. Well, I mean, Samus controls a little floaty in that game, which I don't think is fine, but some people... Oh, I should have charge shot at him. Oh well. Let's see where I went by my train of thought. Just sort of crashes and burns. I have no clue what I was talking about earlier. Speaking of difficulty, like, this is a boss. I can't forget the moment when the time where I fought Kraid and he just died. Like, I'm used to Kraid being like the first boss. Like, I played Zero Mission. I like Zero Mission a lot. But Kraid just dies. He dies so fast in that game. I don't understand it. Alright, there's jump ball here too. Or spring ball, in case that's what you called it. Train of thought gone already. I told you I was great at this. Also, I think there's missiles here? Or an energy tank? I mean, in the bottom right. I'm not actually sure about that. I think it would have like a little icon to tell me that. So I don't think so. Oh no, Kraid. Like, all the bosses in that game. Like, I'm sorry, but Super Metroid has just like the weakest bosses in existence. Also, we're gonna have... Remember when I said this game is atmosphere? Yeah. No, that shit's spooky. I mean, when I was a kid, like, everything scared me, so... Like, I can't really say too much about that. But that is genuinely frightening. Because, like, the whole room goes silent. All you can hear are the footsteps, and there's, like, a subtle heartbeat noise, which I didn't realize until I played this game with headphones on. But no, it's spooky. Like, Meridia is the closest Super Metroid gets to being spooky. And, like, Meridia is, like, more frustrating than anything because of Grapple Beam. Like, Grapple Beam. Like, why does Grapple Beam exist in that game? Someone has to explain that to me, because, like, it does nothing. Like, as soon as you get space jump, it's obsolete. So why bother? I really wish I kind of wish I formulated something here, because I'm very sure that to some people it sounds like I'm whining a lot. My biggest problem with Super Metroid is just, one, it's far too easy. Like, except the difficulty is just like sporadic. Like, Ridley in that game sucks. Not because like Ridley is a bad idea. Oh, I just read the word bad idea and I was like, oh, okay, I'll say that. But no, it's just that literally every single other boss, even the final boss in that game, like, is fairly simple. You just sort of go and shoot him and they die. Like Dragon, you just sort of shoot him and he dies. You can even cheese him. They implemented a cheese strat for Dragon. Someone at Nintendo Incorporated Limited, registered trademark, decided this boss was too hard. I'm gonna put in a secret way for players to kill it like in a second. And to be completely fair, you do need like sub-tanks or like a lot of energy to do the cheese strat. Hiccups. And it's not completely obvious how to do it. But someone still said like this boss needs to be cheesed somehow. Which is odd because the boss is like, it has like 2 attack patterns. It has spider webs and spike up the butt, which is succinctly describes that boss. Blah, 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 blah. So the X are doing stuff. So there's a snake here. It's called Ceres. It's super sonic fast, and it's probably like doing stuff bad. So we need to go there because it might be there. I mean, it's probably there, right? Spoiler alert, it's not there. Oh, and the water's electrified. Oh god, I lost my train of thought, like, again. Like, please, I don't know. I say like a lot because I hate talking like a teenager. Even though I am a teenager, I wanna, like, oops. That was a mistake. I don't want to further the notion that I'm like, like I'm whiny. As I'm sure I sound like I'm whiny. I'm trying not to sound like it. Or at least I make a effort to not be a bitch. I swore. That makes me edgy, right? I wanted to talk about this in some kind of like intellectual fashion to make me sound smart because I like video games and I want to talk about them. And there's stuff in there, but I'm not gonna go get it. There's an energy tank if you go up top left, but I'm lazy. Oh sh! Hell? Remember when I said I was good at this game? I've never done that before. I usually make that like easy peasy. There's actually nothing in there. Surprisingly, the entire room is like a red herring. So we gotta go up here. But yeah, I want to try and talk like about games like in a design aspect because I want to like that's interesting. It's talking about like games not just as like something you play, but it's something like designers have to think about and work around. It's not just a game, it's an art form, god damn it. Oh my god, it's dead. Wow. I'm actually kind of low on health. Oh no, there's a eye door, of course. But, like, the reason why I can't... Yeah, that's the energy tank I was talking about. The reason why I'm not a super big fan of Super Metroid is just because I hate non-linear games. Except I love them. It's just... It's a certain kind of non-linear I like. Like, pure non-linear. The problem I have with, like... I want to say Link to the Past, but I can't be... It's not fair because I haven't played that game in full. But, so Super Metroid and Super Metroid and Symphony of the Night are like classic games. Because like, everyone loves Super Metroid. But they're like non-linear, but not really non-linear. They still like ask stuff from the player. So it's like, in that game, there's bosses. There's 4 bosses, which is pretty much the objective of the entire game, is to kill the 4 bosses. So that's like Kraid, Phantoon, Dragon, etc. And there's a few sub-bosses. I guess the sub-bosses are required to a degree. So, okay, so the player has this objective. It's kill these things. So, how is the player supposed to know that? Well, there's a bunch of statues of the bosses, like, hanging around. So, like, you're just supposed to assume that killing these bosses will cause, like, a statue to sink through the ground and do all this cool stuff. Like, sure. Okay, so, like, granted, like, that's not the hardest thing to assume. Especially if you've played Metroid, and I missed. If you've played Metroid, then it's like, killing the bosses is, like, an accepted part of the game. It's like, that just happens. So it's like, okay, where do I go to fight the bosses? Because you clearly want the player to do this. It's an objective you've tasked them with, but you're not going to tell them how to get there, or what to do. So it's like, imagine if you were in a forest, and someone like gave you a map and said like, there's treasure in this forest, go find it. You'd be lost. You'd just wander around without any direction. And I understand that some people like that. Like, if you're a very patient person, that sounds like fun. It's like, oh, I get to wander around this mysterious place, and like, there's stuff waiting for me somewhere, and I just gotta find it. But for me, it's like, you told me where to go, or you told me that there's something here. So why can't you just tell me, like, what it is that I'm looking for, or how to get there? And then, like, imagine if you marked that spot on a map, or you, like, gave me written instructions and it was like a puzzle. And that would be really cool. But instead, I get, like, frustrated because I'm sitting there with this map. It's like, it's completely blank, except for, like, my surroundings. And I'm just supposed to know that somewhere on that map, there's something for me. And that example's a little unfair, because, like, if it's a game, you can sort of meta it, and just like, oh, well, like, the dead ends are probably where there's stuff, so I'm gonna go into the dead ends. And, like, branching paths that, like, lead to something really huge. And there was a tank here. Oh, I missed it. Huh. It's so easy. I have 60 missiles. I'm already have more than enough missiles to beat this whole game. But no, so going back. So the problem is that with Super Metroid, with Super Metroid, you have this giant world and just stuff for you to do, and that's fine. If you're a very patient person, you're gonna walk around this entire world, and like every single thing is gonna be like wonder and excitement. But if you're not patient like me, then you're gonna be wandering around this world getting really angry because it's like, where do I go? I need to kill these bosses. I just want to go kill these bosses because I have it in the back of my mind that there's something I have to do. There's an objective. There's an explicit, like, task for me. But I just can't find it. Hiya. Yeah. So what ends up happening is I just get lost. Like, oh, where do I go? Oh, here? No, it's a dead end. Oh, well, that sucks. Maybe I'll just go over here. Oh no, it's another dead end. Okay, well that sucks. Okay, maybe I'll go over here. Oh, it's a boss. Oh, it died in 1 second. Okay, well that was exciting. And again, it doesn't help that, like, nothing in that game is super interesting from like a difficulty perspective. Because, like, literally everything dies in a single hit. Like, once you get Spazer / Wide Beam, then the entire game just is like a joke. Because everything just dies. You just have to press the fire button and everything dies. Which, you know what, I'm sure that's like an unfair, like, a comparison. Because you could just kill anything in this game by just mashing the B button. But they still build a challenge around, like, what you're doing. Because, like, look at this level design. It's like, we went all the way around, and then now it's like we're back where we started, and it was easy breezy. We did something. There was a task given to us, and we did it. The reason why I don't have this problem in like Breath of the Wild, which is, I know everyone says that game's perfect, and I mean it does the open world part perfect. Some other parts not really. But in that game you can just set your own objective, and it's like you know where to go because you marked it yourself. And so the non-linear part of that game is the setting objectives and exploring. But because you set objectives, then you can go there. It feels like you're accomplishing tasks rather than just sort of walking around and hoping you find the pieces to the puzzle. Maybe I have to play Super Metroid again, but I really don't. It's really the lostness is what gets me. And again, if you like that, I'm not saying you're a bad person if you think that getting lost is fun in games. I know a lot of people personally who would probably really enjoy the idea of going out into a forest with a map and just looking for stuff. But for me, I'd rather that you build like a puzzle around it. Like there's a challenge. You task me with something, so make it like a task, not a I'm just gonna tell you something and then not tell you how to do it. Like imagine if you were doing a test in school and the teacher gave it back to you and said it's wrong, and then you asked, well, why is it wrong? And they said, I'm not gonna tell you. But they gave you the test and they were like, do this test, and it's like, I'm not gonna tell you how to do it. It's like those tests you get in English where it's like a beginner's comprehension test to get an idea. I know they don't mark those like legitimately, but imagine if they did, because they don't tell you how to answer those tests. They don't tell you how to write. They're just like, hey, write. Okay. Let's I guess we can stop talking about Super Metroid, because I'm sure like all y'all Super Metroid fans are just hating me right now. Also, actually I didn't get the security room. I'm a dummy. This is a hot room, isn't it? Oh no. There's stuff here. I want it. I really don't need it, because it's missiles. You know, if there's one thing this game does really dumb, it's that it gives you way too many missiles. Like, I already have 80 missiles. Like, once I get wide beam, which is pretty soon actually, I'll never need these. Well, actually, once I get super missiles, I'll use them. But like 80 is just too much. Like literally every enemy will die in one shot to a super missile. Which I understand contradicts what I said earlier about things dying in one hit. I don't know. I think it's justifiable because this game does like rewards very well. Because it's not like, oh, you have the missiles and they kill everything. It's like, first they make you go through some of these enemies, which take a lot of missiles to kill. Like, they're like really tough. Well, not hard, but like they take a lot of hits. And so it's like, oh, this is so frustrating. They're so hard to kill. But then you get super missiles, like, and then you feel this sense of satisfaction because you got them. I like how they just give you that missile tank. It's like, dude, I have too many of these. I can't hold all these. Except I can. You get like 200 missiles, which I don't have to tell you that that's too many. But yeah, it's like these enemies are like a pain in the ass to kill. Like even that little tiny fire thing took a bunch of hits. But we're about to get super missiles like right now. So when you get them, the best part of this game is when, I won't spoil it, actually. No, we have super missiles. That's great. And something exploded. What could it be? This is actually one of the harder bosses. I say harder in quotes. It's it's harder because I watched Vinny do it, and Vinny, like, I love you, but you're not a gamer. Like, actually, I don't think he had trouble on this boss in particular. I know he had trouble with the rematch. Spoilers, you rematch this boss, but that'll be evident in like a few seconds. Damn it. But yeah, so what you're supposed to do is stand like right on top of it. I missed. Oh yeah. See, if you didn't know that, you'd oh god. Yeah. That's like the one way you take damage fighting this enemy. And, he's a bit dumb. Sometimes he jumps twice, sometimes he doesn't. Now he's dead. Quote unquote dead. I don't even know what this is. Dude, it's like a crab robot. It's supposedly a security robot. I always imagine a security robot would like shoot lasers or something. Like something a little more direct of an attack. Like, dude, there's like an enemy intruder. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna jump at them and fire really slow exploding flame grenades. Well, how about a gun? No, it's too hard. Too easy. I'm not sure. Actually, there's stuff over there, but I'm just gonna ignore it. Because I can get it anyway. Oh god! Oh. Bombs. Bombs, and I got an energy tank. I do need a few of these because, I said I was good at this game. I'm not perfect at this game. So, and there's some parts where, like, you're gonna take a lot of damage regardless. Well, I mean, if you're really good, then you're not gonna take damage, but if you do take damage, you're gonna take a lot of it. And I mean a lot of it. If you play this game, you know what I mean, but we'll get there when we get there. So, we are going to Sector 6, I believe? I think we're gonna get variable soon. My hand on the spot. Sub-Zero. Yeah, I think we're getting variable suit. Except destroyed all the excavator used so far. Yeah, we're going to Sector 6. This will be a cinch. Was I talking about something? I really lost my train of thought. I was talking about the robot. I could talk about other games. What games have I been playing recently? I recently beat Days of Ruin. Advance Wars Days of Ruin. That game's fun. That game has good music. But that game's also kind of frustrating because some of the bosses in that game, I mean, well, bosses, quote unquote. Some of the missions, like Great Owl and Waylon Flies Again, those missions aren't fun. Mostly because they take too long. The ending mission was fun. The final, well, it was annoying how they kept blasting me with laser beams during the final mission. And they kept crippling all of my units, but whoops. It was still fun. It was more fun than frickin' Dual Strike, which had what was it called? Black Obelisk? It's the mission where there's like a bunch of satellites. Or satellites. There is a satellite in space, and you have to use missile silos to blow it up. And if a single enemy unit steps on top of a missile silo, then you lose. Which is frustrating, because you have to control 3 different armies, and then not fuck up at all. I swore, sorry. I'm sure swears don't, like, hurt my standing on YouTube, which, I mean, YouTube is like a mess. I'm not even gonna talk about it because I'm sure you've already heard like all the crazy like drama, like, oh my god, that stuff happened as is unethical, but it's getting views and YouTube won't do anything about it. It's like, you can make a YouTube video where you say a bad word or it's kind of violent because it's a video game, and then you get demonetized. But it's like, I'm literally gonna hurt animals and that's fine. And I fucked up. This is one of those things where if you get hit by that, you take a lot of damage. Which, I didn't explain it, but they're cold. This is why we're getting Varia Suit. Is this even the right way? Yeah, this is the right way. I hope this is the right way. Yeah, this is definitely the right way. Train of thought already gone. I seriously just lost everything. What was I talking about? I might just stop the recording and like go and look at what I just talked about and then come back to it, which would be a good idea. I've been recording for nearly an hour now, which is surprising. That save file I had was like an hour 10 minutes, which I imagine this would be a lot faster, but I guess I'm not that fast. No, seriously, what was I talking about? I talked about Dual Strike. I'm not gonna walk forward. Because, like, this happens. This is kind of a dick move. Like that is a dick move. But it is kind of hilarious watching someone, like, fuck up and get hit by that. Oh, yeah, I was talking about YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is a little strange. Oh, shit! Alright, well. I fucked up. I should have realized that I can just walk through that. This is a sprite-based game. Door dies in one hit, I think. Actually, I think you can actually kill this with a beam. I might have forgotten that completely. Also, stop doing that. No. I do plan on, like, trying to, like, become a YouTuber, quote-unquote. Not, like, I mean, it's very clear that I'm, like, heading into Let's Player territory. Which, I mean, Let's Players are kind of, like, a meme now. Oh, I killed him. Yeah, this boss is a little bit on the silly side. I'm getting hit. I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry. But no. I mean, this probably isn't the best video to start off with. Like, I'm gonna start my YouTube career with, and I say career, it's just because, like, this is literally what I like to do. I like talking, and I like playing games. And I think there's a market of people out there who like listening to someone talk while they play a video game. That's what I grew up with. I grew up with, like, frickin' Super Mario World ROM hacks. I watched, like, Proton John, which was ironic because he's born in Calgary, and I am born in Calgary too, which was just hilarious to find out after so many years. I was like, where does Proton John live? And I'm like, oh, he lives in Canada. I live in Canada too. Oh, he's from the same city as me? Well, that's just crazy. But I watched Sugar Conroy. And, I mean, I still love the guy. But, man, I don't want to sound like I think he's a bad person. He's a great person. It's just that he's so much louder than I remember him being. I mean, his older videos, he's like deadpan, and I'm sure I'm pretty deadpan too. So, I mean, I'm not one to talk, and that's not a bad thing. I just think the relaxed, non-energetic Sugar Conroy felt a lot more home style. I feel weird talking about another YouTuber, especially someone as popular as him. I watched him when he was like small. I watched his mother Let's Plays, which were fun. I still go back and watch them sometimes, just because they're like good videos. Now I have a craving for Super Mario World. Maybe I'll play that. Well, I mean, I think it is kind of dead, but dead as in no one's been playing it, which is good because I don't want to play something that like everyone's playing. Like I will never touch a meme game ever. Like once I saw Get Over It, I was like never in my life. Not even like unironically or off a camera. I'm never touching a game like that. Like how I played Sexy Hiking. I know how those games work. And even Sexy Hiking was like a meme game before meme games were really a thing. Like Goat Sim was pretty much the meme game that began all meme games. Sim games in general. But yeah. I'm just hoping that you enjoy this video, or at least that my commentary is something for you to listen to. Because, I mean, this is certainly something I would listen to, and maybe because it's me. I know it's kind of dumb to say that, because of course I like it. I made it. But this is the kind of format that I like. It's just someone sitting back, playing a game. I do like more informative content. Like, I love listening to people talk about game design. Like, games with good game design. I could talk about games I played recently. What are games I played recently? I played Xenoblade. I played Odyssey. I played A Hat in Time. I could talk about A Hat in Time and Odyssey, but maybe later, because I still have a lot of games to go through. But no, I like to just play a game. I'm sure I'll make more videos on different games, and this whole 1 hour segment thing I probably won't do unless the game's fairly short. I said to myself, this game's short, but turns out this is taking a lot longer than I thought. I've been recording for nearly an hour now, and it hasn't felt like an hour. It's felt like 40 minutes, which I know isn't that strong of a distinction. And again, if I fricked up this recording, then I'll have to record a full hour segment again. More, plus. And yes, when I said I'm a teenager, I really meant that. I live in my home with my family, which is why I'm recording this in the morning, because I don't want anyone interrupting me. And if someone does interrupt me, I'm just gonna cut it out, because you don't want to hear like parents screaming at me. Not like they hate me. It's just that they're Asian. I'm Asian. Except I live in Canada. I wonder if I sound like it. Do I have that accent? That accent. What kind of accent does an Asian and like Canadian have? Because there's a lot of Asians in this country. There's like, from anecdotal evidence, I would go on to say that like there's more Asian people than there are actual Canadians in Canada, which isn't a bad thing by any means, but it's just kind of funny. Train of thought is gone again. No, literally. What was I talking about? I was talking about games I like to talk about. I was talking about my voice. People interrupting. No, my family's Asian, which means they're loud by necessity, because it must be something with like the culture or how the language works, because anytime anyone's talking, they're either whispering as if they're conspiring something, or they're screaming like they're mad at each other, but they're not mad at each other because they'd divorce if they were mad at each other. They're not. So it's just weird. I think we're gonna get power bombs, which you might have thought you'd get something cool like Ice Beam here, but no. They actually explain why you don't get Ice Beam in this game. It's because the Metroid vaccine you got at the start of the game, which... Did I explain that I didn't explain that at all. I'm sorry. At the beginning of the game, when Samus gets infected with the virus, they use a Metroid-based vaccine to save her. Which is why you can't get Ice Beam in this game, because the Metroid would reject the Ice Beam. And we ain't there yet. We're almost there. Security room should be just ahead. How's it going? I've been fine. Actually, I should talk about games I played recently. Even though this is Metroid, I could talk about more Metroid things, like, wait, what did I get? Did I get Ice... No, I didn't get Ice... That was just the security gate, right? Are we gonna get power bombs or are we gonna get ice missiles? I don't remember. I think we actually get ice missiles. Also, that hit me. Jerk. Damn it. Yeah, I think we get ice missiles. How did I forget? I know I said I was good at this game, and now I feel like a bit of a fool, because I was like, I'm great at this game. Oh, what's that? I forgot literally everything about this game. Booper Chew. Maybe I should have read that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if you want me to read all this stuff, because I had stuff to talk about, and then I was like, meh. I hate no pun. I can talk about Xenoblade, because again, I'm poor, so I don't have, like, yeah, I got ice missiles. I'm poor, which means I don't have a capture card. If I did have a capture card, I would absolutely record, like, everything, like Splatoon, and Xenoblade, and Odyssey, all that fun stuff. But I can't. I'll certainly do a lot of Game Boy games. Game Boy games that I own, maybe, because I feel kind of bad pirating them. But it's not. I don't think Nintendo will get mad at me if I emulate a number of their games. One game I had in mind, actually kind of ironically, a game I had in mind was Wario Land 4. And the reason why that's ironic is because that game and this game are running on the same engine, which is probably something you've heard of in like a Did You Know Gaming or some other random facts video. It's like, did you know that Metroid Fusion and Wario Land 4 are on the same engine? I'm terrible at voices. I hope you could tell. What do I sound like? It's something I have to ask myself, because like, bro. Actually, wait, is it gonna happen? Are we gonna get? I think it's gonna happen. I'm just waiting. Ah! Okay. It's an emergency! Okay. This part scared the... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm peeking the noise. This scared me so much when I was a kid. I was like, what is happening? There's an emergency in Sector 3. This part's great. I love this part. This is probably my favorite part in the whole game. Next to the Ridley fight. And I know the Ridley fight, everyone's gonna love that part. Actually, can you hear this? I need to turn up the audio more. I'm sorry. I mean, the focus is me talking. Well, again, not to sound pretentious, but the focus is the talking part. So if the game is like too quiet, I'm sorry. But I hope that isn't a problem. So that part, the robotic voice, the computer voice telling you 6 minutes to main boiler explosion. That part, I love it because it syncs up perfectly with the music. So we gotta go to Sector 3. So I skipped over all of that, again, with the whole not reading it, because, so what's happened is the main boiler is overheating, it's about to explode, and we gotta go stop that. So what this means for most people is getting lost, but I'm just gonna go straight to it. Damn it. Alright, well, I wasted time. I can usually get this in like just under 4 minutes. 4 minutes remaining, that is. Not 4 minutes spent. But, I'm doubting myself now. So we gotta go down. Vroom, 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 vroom. Bye. I'm gonna hope to God I didn't fuck it up. No, it's definitely here. Alright. Damn it. Alright. What does it mean first? Okay, whatever. Whatever! You know, I didn't want to be perfect anyway. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. What does cover girl specialize in? It's makeup, right? I've worn, not makeup. Does nail polish count as makeup? I had weird friends. Well, okay, it's not my friend's fault. It's my fault, really. I have long nails, which I know sounds strange for a guy, but I mean, it's what I am. I can't change that. I'm not gay. This is a great way to start a conversation. Dude, I'm not gay. I'm not like homophobic. Dude, I love gay people. Except I don't, because I'm not actually homosexual. It's just that my parents, my mom in particular, is always suspecting that I'm like a homosexual, because I sort of fashion myself as a like feminine sort of, which I mean you might as well just call me like a fucking cuck, because I might as well be. Oh god, how could you do this to me? We're gonna go get this guy. I think we can cheese this guy as well. So, oh, it's a scientist. That's weird. It's like a human being, because it's weird because there aren't any humans in this game. Yeah, we're doing this. What a great game. I'm sorry. I'm contradicting myself all the time. I said Super Metroid has bosses that are too easy, and then I'm cheesing every single boss. To be fair to Super Metroid, it does have more complex bosses. Like the snake, Crocomire. What are some of the bosses in that game? They might not be the most memorable bosses. Are those the only? There's Maneater, or whatever it's called. The plant boss, the first boss in that game. Which, that boss is not threatening in the slightest. His music is though. He has some pretty spooky music, which I do admire. Although I love this game's music. Games with good music. I love games with good music. Music has always been something I particularly fond of in games. I know some people say like good music isn't really a valid like thing to point out because good music is pretty easy to come by. But music adds so much to a game. Like, there's a reason why every single Etrian Odyssey game I love is because they have great music. Yuzo Koshiro is awesome. In fact, that was kind of funny. I played 7th Dragon, which if you probably don't know what it is because it's like a semi-obscure RPG on the 3DS. The third game is, at least. I think the other games were just DS games. But that game, some of that music is composed by Yuzo, which was just kind of funny to me. Because it's like, I love the music in that game too, but I had no idea who composed any of it. And then it was like, one of the composers was Yuzo, and I was like, oh, well, damn. The game's published by Sega. I played Sonic Forces, like before all the memes came out about how like that game is dumb. Like I played that game when it came on release day. I played that game, and it's weird because I don't play Sonic games all that much, so I had no idea what to expect. And it's not the worst game ever. I've always wanted to play Sonic 06, just because like, you know, that's a game with good music. Like, have you ever heard the Soliana's music? That shit's amazing, and I'm sure I'm biased because that is a setting I love. I love like beachside like towns. It has a very relaxing, chill theme to it. It's so calming. Go listen to that music, as opposed to this music, which is very dramatic. Where am I going? We're gonna power bombs. And I'm somehow... I think... No, the recording's longer than I thought because of all the time I spent in the beginning. And I'm sure the in-game time's a little shorter than what I've been doing. This is also a memorable part of the game. And I'm cutting out my words. I'm not ESL actually. I'm an English speaker. Even though my family doesn't really speak it, I speak it. Because I grew up in Canada, so I speak English. Fancy that. Elevator's working now. I don't know how you fix it. Did you get R2-D2 or something? Oh god, don't make me talk about Star Wars. I'm hitting all the fan bases that people are associated with. Like, I'm sure so many people out there are like, dude, you suck. Because like, I don't like Super Metroid. I don't like Symphony of the Night. I don't like Star Wars, blah blah blah. I won't touch on that. The reason why I mentioned that is because I watched the new one. Well, I didn't watch it. I watched like half of it, and I was so upset because there's so much stuff that doesn't make sense. I won't touch on it because, like, if you haven't watched it, I don't want to spoil you or anything. This isn't a Star Wars video, so I won't talk about it. But that movie frustrated me. I don't watch a lot of movies too, actually. So maybe I'm not like the most qualified person to judge a movie because, like, I don't watch movies. Like, dude, would I rather? Because I'm like, I draw. I do a lot of drawing. I don't want to sound like I'm self-righteous or anything. It's just that I don't like take the time to do it, to watch like movies, because it's like, again, the irony. I'm dedicating an hour to play a video game, but I won't dedicate an hour to watch a movie. It's because movies don't interest me as much as games. Maybe it's because it's like a visual format or like an interactive format, because obviously movies are visual, but they're not interactive. But maybe just concepts, like the idea of wandering around in a space station with a laser gun sounds more interesting than watching a movie about like two teenagers learning what it's like to be an adult. Because, like, I'm an adult. I know what it's like. It sucks. Well, I mean, not really. I'm not an adult. I'm 18, literally. So, legally, I'm an adult. Well, yeah, legally. Maturity is a strange thing. Because, well, I hate kids. And I don't mean that as, like, I hate young people. I just hate people who, like, whine and complain. And, like, who don't empathize, people who don't like understand like perspective, or people who don't selfish. These are all terms that you can apply to like young children. Children are like selfish. Children like do shit because it makes them happy, and that's not a bad thing to do, but they take it too far. It's like, I'm gonna like bully someone because it makes me laugh. Like, a mature reasonable person doesn't do that. A mature reasonable person doesn't a reasonable person doesn't hurt animals, record it, and then laugh at it. A mature person doesn't laugh at dead people. Like, I hate to touch on like relatively modern news because I typically don't stay up to date with news, but like, come on. It is I'm not like a PETA. I don't like animal rights is like, it's cool. In video games, I don't care about it, which is why, like, whenever PETA makes, like, a Pokemon's evil kind of thing, it's like, I can't agree with that. But what I can agree with is that hurting animals is not right, man. Like, I read comments like, dude, they're dumb animals. Like, even if it's, like, a rat or, like, a bug, like, it's one thing to just get rid of it because it's, like, a problem to you. Like, you would get rid of termites if they were tearing down your home. Like, that's fine. But if it's one thing to, like, call the exterminator to kill the rats that are infesting your home and causing problems. It's another thing to take the rat and then beat it to death. Well, they didn't beat it to death, but, you know. It's excessive. It's excessive for no reason. It's just not cool. It's surprising how many people are like, YouTube is messed up, and hopefully I can just ignore it and not have to deal with people who do that kind of stuff, because like I don't know what kind of people you have to be to like watch that and be like, haha, this is funny, this is right. Like, it's one thing to make a shock video and actually be shocked by it. It's another thing to make a shock video and be completely serious and not take it as a shock video. Like, this is comedy. Killing things is comedy, right, guys? Ugh. Ugh. Like, suicide and, like crude humor? I don't have a problem with crude humor. I love Filthy Frank. But Filthy Frank, like the worst, like, he had the worst animals rights activist, which I actually didn't watch. I think that's the one where he just fed, like, mice to snakes, which, to be fair, those mice were meant to be fed to the snakes. I mean, the closest you can get to comparing like him and a legitimately bad person would be like Rat Chef, which, I mean, like, to be completely fair with him, like, yeah, that is kind of screwed up, but I don't know. I don't want to be a hypocrite, because as much as I love Filthy Frank, like, killing animals, well, not killing animals, but desecrating dead animals is just a bit meh. I don't find it as humorous as some others. Like, eating a cake made out of hair is, like, funny to me. Oh wait, did I oh damn it, I didn't do it. If you put the power bomb in a certain way and like jump, you can get like a portion of this to be like broken. Because I think this like breaks open. Yeah. What does this lead to? I actually don't recall. I'm just gonna check this out. Again, remember when I said I was good at this game and I played it a whole bunch? 100%ing this game isn't that great. Oh, it's a power bomb. Oh, spoiler alert. Power bombs are useless. If you want to talk the most useless Metroid power-up ever, you'd have a pretty hard tie between power bombs and like the grapple beam. And maybe Spider Ball. Spider Ball's actually got some cool puzzle uses. Like, okay, Samus Returns. Like, that game's great, but the final boss, and I don't mean the final boss, I mean just the regular final boss. That boss is not... They implement, like, some puzzle features that you don't actually see ever. A spoiler... no, okay, I won't talk about it, because I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't played that game. Samus Returns, again, not a bad game, but different, very different, and kind of frustrating. Okay, if there's one thing I don't feel bad about spoiling, is how to, is power bomb jumping. That is something in Samus Returns that they never teach you. And I don't even think they tell you in the tooltip. You just have to understand how that works. If you spider ball on a wall and you put a power bomb down, you will power bomb jump horizontally as if you were, shine sparking. Well, kind of. I never actually did it because I figured that out when I beat the game, and I never wanted to go back to it because... Okay, bro, you're hurting me. Thank you. It wasn't even that guy, it was the one on the bottom. Samus Returns isn't horrible. It's just, it's a button masher. Because the enemies don't die really quickly in that game, you're encouraged to ice beam missiles or use the melee attack, which, like, it's cool they're adding variety to it, but I just like shooting them. Also, this is that interesting part I was talking about. This is my favorite, well, one of my favorite parts in the game. This is the part that shows off the difficulty best. It's also one of the more memorable parts. Cause like this is the problem I have with Super Metroid. And okay, that I don't have a problem with it. That's not actually a problem. This is just one thing about Metroid Fusion that I like a lot, and something I like about a lot more linear games is that these experiences are memorable, but for a non-linear game, they're all like personal. Which I can understand how that's cool in another way. Like you can like share your experiences with another player and be like, "Wow, how did you do this? I did it this way." And it's like, "Whoa, I did it that way." That's cool. It's just that like this is memorable because it's just different. Like for something to be memorable in like a non-linear game, you'd have to like you just have to make it interesting for yourself. Like 9 times out of 10 that just usually revolves around nearly dying to a boss. Like I nearly died to this and it was tough. There's not a whole lot from Super Metroid I can remember aside from like there was a really tall vertical room that was like red colored. I remember getting wide was it wide beam or wave beam? I think it was wide beam. No, it wasn't wide beam. That's Spazer. It was wave beam. I got wave beam by sequence breaking because I wall jumped up a wall. I fell into a pit of spikes and was like, God damn it, what do I do? Turns out, oh right, I can just jump up this. Because I can, because this is Super Metroid. And that is one cool thing, is how you can sequence break it. That's probably what I like the most about it, is sequence breaking. Again, please don't think I hate Super Metroid, or hate you if you like that game. It's not a bad game. I like it. It's just, it's not my kind of game. And by my kind of game, I mean, like, it's non-linear. It's like pseudo-non-linear is what I call it. It's a game that gives you an objective and task, but it doesn't tell you how to do it. It's in a non-linear world. Like, the world itself is non-linear, but the things you have to do aren't non-linear. Well, I mean, you can kill the bosses in whatever order, but there's still, like, objectives that the game sets for you, and then asks that you can go do it. And this is the part I was talking about that's cool. Like, this is cool, man. We're gonna go kill Yakuza, which, that is his name. I can only assume. And you see these space pirates? These are, like, actual enemies. I mean, granted, they're not that much harder, but they don't die in a single hit. You get all these cool power-ups, but the enemies are still, like, remarkably tough. Remarkably tough is, like, not the best word I'd use to describe that. If there's one thing I will give Super Metroid even more credit for, is that that game has probably a really good final boss. Mother Brain is not hard, but out of all the bosses in that game, that was the one, like, redeeming boss. Because, like, it feels like a boss. It takes a lot of damage to kill. It isn't just, like, a wimp. Where you just sort of... It's not like Ridley. Ridley's a terrible boss in that game, actually. Ridley just sort of runs into you. And he's hard for all the wrong reasons. So, this is how you kill Yakuza. This is what most people call the hardest boss in the game. And I disagree. Because, again, this is one of those... This is one of those where if you know how to do it, like, dude's easy. Like, this is how you beat Yakuza. Because he can't hit you in the corners. He physically can't reach you in the corners. Unless he does that. But even then, like... Again, not that hard. Also, this is a really cool song. Okay, this is like... That's actually the hard part down. I said that was the hard part, but I'm taking more damage now. Oh, I got him in a good cycle before. Okay, fuck this. I said that like I'm like a badass. I'm still taking damage. This game's really loud. I don't know if you noticed, but this game's really loud. You're gonna love it when we get to Ridley. You're gonna love this. Dead memes. Hey, I'm not sponsored or anything, but if you like funny videos, and I'm sure a lot of you like funny videos, go watch Limit Breaker. Funny motherfucker. And again, he's that sort of intellectual side. Well, yeah, I guess I could say that. Informational videos, even though it's useless information, it's still interesting if you like that kind of data, like useless data about games. It's great fun. Go watch him. Again, he has no connections to me. Just go watch him. This is over an hour 30 minutes. Actually, hour 24. I'm surprised it's still running. My CPU is fine. My computer is a garbage pile, and I know that some people like that's exaggerating. Relative to what I should be using, it's like actually I am so afraid because we're about to go do something. I won't spoil it. It's about to happen, so you'll see. But I'm saving because I could die. I legitimately could die. I was like, look at these enemies. They don't die very quickly. And the game is about to throw you one of the hardest sucker punches that I probably will. in terms of gameplay, it's gonna do something that will make you want to die. You hear that? Nerd. Yeah. That's not how you're supposed to do that. But that's how I do it. Because that's funny. And I like it. So actually, I'm gonna do something. Because, if you ever play this game and you're having trouble with this part, because like you can see just how much damage I'm taking. This actually isn't the part I'm talking about. You know, it's down here. It's actually something you should know about. In case you ever play this game, because they do something kind of mean. There aren't any recharge rooms, so if you like start dying, you just have to tough it out. There's actually a power bomb here. I don't want it. It's like picking up a penny. It's just garbage. Just ignore it. It's not worth anything. Not worth my time, buddy. Oh, that's not the jump button. Shoot. I actually remapped the buttons. Y is B and B is A on this. The way I've mapped it out, because like frickin' it's a lot easier to shoot that way. So, oh, what's that? There's a secret room in here. Wow, it's a recharge room. So in case you ever play this game and you're having trouble with the segment, there's a recharge room right here. So keep that in mind, because a lot of this is what most people will call the hardest part of the game. And that is the only reason why. Because no one will ever find that recharge room. So it's just like, you just escape that encounter and like you're almost dead. So this is the next boss. What is this boss called again? I actually don't know. So I actually don't remember how to do this. I remember I said I wanted to like that like the missiles aren't really that important. No, I'm gonna have plenty of missiles. Sorry you're not talking. Yeah, that was it. You know, I'm never gonna forget, like, talking about other YouTubers. I'm not gonna forget the time Vinny did this, and he screamed. He gave a very hearty yell because he died in this boss way too many times. I don't think it was because of the lack of recharge room. I think it's just because a lack of attention. Because like that section can feel kind of frustrating. Also, we got plasma beam. So remember when I said rewards for like feeling gratified? This is one of the best parts of the game because that's the quote unquote hardest part, and then you get plasma beam, and plasma beam is awesome. Like, look at this. Bam! Zap! You're dead! Alright, no. Damn it. Well, hubris. My only weakness. There's missiles over there, I think. If it's an E-tank, I'll be sad. But I shouldn't take too much damage. Next boss is... Well, what are we missing? We're missing like 3 other power-ups. 4, maybe. So we're going to get... We're going to go get gravity suit, I believe. And then we're gonna get an extra missile upgrade. Then we're gonna get screw attack. And then I think we're done. Oh no, then we get wave beam. We get wave beam before we get screw attack. Yep. Claire. Stuff's happening. Oh, my voice cracked. Remember when I said I was a teenager? So, we're progressing pretty quickly. We're nearing the end of the game. I don't know when halfway would be considered. I should like count all of the power-ups and then decide like what the halfway point is. This is pretty much the part where like everything ramps up and becomes a lot more dramatic. It gets really exciting. This is I love this game. Because it's just exciting. It feels like a movie. Not really. I just like this game. And I don't think that linearness hurts this game. That's something I should have touched on. I was going on and on about why the non-linearness made me upset. But I never talked about why this game is just fine, being linear. Even though it's a Metroid game, I don't think I don't think any game should be, like, defined. The gameplay shouldn't be defined by the name. The name represents a lot of things. This is actually the wrong way, isn't it? This is, like, blocked off. Oh no, I think this is actually the right way. Yeah, it is. Okay, don't worry. I know what I'm doing! But, okay. I'm touching on a lot of fan bases. This video, if anyone watches this video, like 50% of everyone's gonna hate me because I'm saying things that like people will disagree with. But no, a lot of people give this game flack because oh, I got it! I sound so excited. I normally don't do that. And I'm really playing like a donkey. No, seriously. Oh my goodness. No. Like, a lot of people give this game flack because it doesn't feel like a Metroid game, because, like, Metroid games should be defined by their non-linearness, but I think any game is just defined more by, like, how it plays, how it's designed. Like, when you say Metroid to me, I don't think non-linear exploration game. I think space, Samus Aran, Metroids. Like, Metroids, the creature Metroids? Those should be in the games. At least in some degree. But no, the name... To me, the name is more about the theme of the game. Like, what the plot is, or the universe at least. If you said, like, Mario to me, like, there's so many Mario games. Like, if you say Mario, no one's gonna tell you, like, oh, it's always 2D side-scrolling. Because you get, like, 3D games, you get golf games, you get sports, you get party games. But what remains consistent with the Mario name and the Mario game is Mario, the Mushroom Kingdom, Princess Peach, Luigi, even Luigi. Mamma mia. Oh, here's another secret recharge room, by the way. I don't need it because I had full health. There's another thing. I don't know if I want it. It might be a power bomb. Yeah, it's power bombs. Okay, fine, I'll take it. But no, that's the part that you recognize. This is not the right way to go. So when this game is like, it's all non-linear, or it is linear, and people say it's not a Metroid game, well, okay, fine, you can say it's not a Metroid game, but it still does something with the Metroid universe. And it's still a game in its own right. It does things differently, but like the fact that it's linear and has a concise story aids to the fact that it has a really concise feeling. It also makes it really replayable because this game can just be like played. Also, this is quote unquote one of the harder bosses. This is Nightmare. Hopefully he's showing up on screen. He should. It's 60 frames a second. So this is how you beat Nightmare. This looks like a bad idea, but this is actually the best way to fight him. And I missed. I missed so bad. He's normally like dead. Okay, now he's dead. Alright. So this will take 2 cycles at least. I'm actually gonna let him hit me because I want to get as many missiles in as I can, and I have the health to do it. So what you have to do is lead him back like really far, and that was terrible. I apologize. That was horrible execution. I said this boss was like... So, that you gotta lead him like back a little, and then... Yeah, that's good. It's all about manipulating the AI. So he's gonna... He falls around in laps, so you gotta lure him back so you can get a good angle, and then cling on the wall kind of low-ish, or at least when he's low-ish, because you don't want him being too high, or you'll do what I did, and you just can't hit him. Damn it. And there we go. Got him. I'm sure, like, most of the bosses, I don't have to explain to you how to beat them, because you can just watch me do it. And it's like, you know, like, half of the beam bosses in this game, you can just cheese. Like, literally half. There's charge beam, there's wide beam, there's plasma beam, there's wave beam. 4 of them. 2 of them you can be cheese. The first 2, in fact. And then wave beam and plasma beam are just sort of jump and shoot, man. I could play Metroid or Mega Man game. I could. I'm thinking about games I want to play. What's your favorite Mega Man game? It's sad to see Mega Man kind of be dead. Especially Battle Network. I love Battle Network. 3. And only 3. The other ones are a little... I recently played 5, because I used to own 5, but it turned out to be a pirated cartridge, so it didn't hold save data. Actually, no, it did. I had Proto Man version. And, well, I don't think I ever beat it. Because, well, that game's not terrible. Again, a lot of games aren't terrible in my eyes. I have a hard time playing terrible games, or finding terrible games. But, yeah. Actually, am I going the right way? Yeah, this is the right way. No. If you've never played Battle Network, it's like a pseudo card game. And it's great. It's sad that it was never expanded on, because like I can think of a lot of like really cool strategies that I would have wanted to like build, but the game doesn't have enough development to really be amazing. Like, go look up that game. I don't want to explain it all for you. It's sort of like action RPG mixed with card game. If we're talking traditional Mega Man games, and by traditional I just mean side-scrolling, because I've never played the NES games or the SNES games, because I didn't grow up with those. I grew up with Game Boy, so I played Battle Network. I also played Zero. I loved Zero. Zero 2 was the one I played the most, and is honestly my favorite. Mostly because I played it first. I could talk about nostalgia actually too, but odds are my favorite Metroid game, or my favorite Mega Man game, it's definitely ZX. I haven't played Advent, but I played ZX, and I love ZX. I don't even know why, because that game's like, I can see a lot of flaws with that game. Namely, the map in that game is terrible. It is terrible. Like, I won't lie. That game is a terrible map, but I still love that game. Is this even the right way? Yeah, no, that's the right way. This is always confused me. I never got used to this, especially with this ass face. No, ZX is a great game, but a terrible game at the same time. Only because of the map. But actually, it just occurred to me. I wanted to talk about this, which was like, I had to think to myself, like, why do the games, like, what are the classic games that people always call classics? And then ask myself, like, why is that? And I realized the theme of, like, that was the era of when games were, like, making big leaps. So, like, if you think of, like, classic Mario games, like, Mario 64 and Mario 3 are the ones that anyone will tell you. And why is that? It's because those games came out after there were big jumps forward, and forward is the important part. The reason why this game doesn't get a lot of praise, aside from it being different, is because it was a side jump. The reason why like Paper Mario isn't the most popular is because it was a side jump. It did a lot different, and it just did a lot different, so like it isn't recognized by a lot of people. But if you look at like Metroid, Super Metroid, everyone loves Super Metroid, and like even disregarding its design, one of the reasons why that game is so popular is because I went the wrong way. That's not why, but oh no, I did go the right way. Whoops. The reason why that game is so popular is because like the last game that came out was like Metroid 2, and that game was on a Game Boy, and there's nothing wrong with Game Boy, except that it's Game Boy. So when Super Metroid comes out, it's like SNES. Look at the graphics. The world's bigger. It's like awesome and cool. Not different. It's the same thing, but everything is such a like giant leap forward. And I'm just gonna get this because I can. It's power bombs. I didn't want this. I should have just saved it to go up here. Instead, I'll just be jumping. But no, Super Metroid was a gigantic leap forward. Like I was talking about Mario 64. Like, what is so amazing about Mario 64? Because it was the first one. It was like 3D. You went from 2D to 3D, and it was amazing. It was like so different and advanced. Mario 3, it's like you had Mario 1, and it was like okay, whatever. You had Mario 2, which was the USA Mario 2, which was again a side jump instead of a forward jump. Then you have Mario 3, which is like, it's a forward jump from Mario 1, and it's, again, the world is bigger, Mario has like more power-ups, it's just bigger, it's better, that's why people remember it so well. And also because it was like, the people who love that game grew up with that game. I can agree with that. Like, I grew up with Zero, which is why I love it. I grew up with ZX, which is why I love it. I grew up with this game, that's why I like it. Because it was the first one. I'm sure if I grew up, it's because of expectations. Like, a good example I can pull up personally is I played Stardew Valley, and that game made me angry. I was so frustrated playing that game, and the only reason why I was so frustrated with that game is because I played Rune Factory 4. I played that one first. So I was like, none of this is the same. Like, Rune Factory 4 does so much better. I love all this stuff, but this stuff is so different. That's why I dislike it. And I mean, not to start a flame war, but I could genuinely come up with a lot of reasons why I don't like Stardew Valley that don't have to do with me expecting Rune Factory 4. There's a lot of dumb stuff in the game. Like the map. A lot of games seem to not get maps very well. I run out of things to talk about. Because this has been going on for nearly 2 hours of recording. I don't get how I got that in-game time of 1 hour and 14 minutes. It is a slight amount of time before you fight the final boss. It's like, yeah, 6 or 6. We're gonna get Wave Beam. We're almost done. We're gonna get Wave Beam and we're gonna fight Ridley. And we're gonna get Screw Attack. And then the game's over. So I don't understand how I got that 1 hour 14 time. That is the last save point before the game opens up, and it's basically the cleanup phase. It's because because after we kill Ridley, the game is pretty much at the end phase, that dreaded phase where it's right before the final boss, and so you basically just have to deal with everything before you go fight the final boss, which I really don't like that about a lot of games. I don't understand why more games can't just like have a unique, like, you beat the game. Like Breath of the Wild, again, I like that game, but one thing that bothered me was that after you beat Ganon, and I hope that's not a spoiler to anyone, you beat Ganon in that game, but you beat Ganon and it's just like, okay, cool, you spawn right outside Hyrule Castle. It feels like nothing you've done has changed. You can't like bask in the world that you helped save, you just have to deal with it. Is this even the right way? Oh, we got that fusion missiles too. I should have said that. That was the missile upgrade I was talking about. That fusion missiles are completely useless, but they're sick. They're sick as heck, man. Yo, dog. I lost my train of thought again. How many times am I gonna say that? I'm a train wreck. Like, figurative and literal. I'm just gonna forget I talked about anything. Because, like, I don't know. We're being yelled at by computer voice. Again. I wonder who voice acted this. We're gonna go fight the boss. Try to guess what the boss is if you don't know what the boss is. Oh my god! What is it? It's a robot! Okay, I'm sorry. This is arguably one of the harder bosses. And I hit the diagonal. So, this is what I would call the harder boss in the game. Use Plasma Beam. Plasma Beam will make this boss a lot easier. I'm saying that in case you like are having trouble with this boss, because I know some people will. This is not the easiest boss in the game. Just work the boss down. This will be fine. And again, you can be hit by the jumps this time. So that's something to watch out for. Those are basically its two attacks, are missiles and jumping into you. Got him. Alright, it's not over yet, Snake. Hey, have you played Metal Gear Solid? Oh man. Now I want to play Metal Gear Solid. This recording session has reminded me a lot of games that I just want to go back and play. Like Metal Gear Solid 5, like shit on that game as much as you want. I love that game. Cause it plays just so smooth, like butter smooth. It's so replayable. And I can't even tell you why. I think it's just personal. So we got Wave Beam. This is pretty much the most overpowered beam in any Metroid game ever. Even like the Rainbow Beam you get in Super Metroid. Like, dude. Like, okay, whatever. That's like, I mean, it is powerful, but I don't want to sound like I'm mocking it. But like, come on, look at this. It's giant. It doesn't kill it doesn't kill every enemy, but it is pretty cool. So we're in the restricted zone. There's a save room, because you can actually get a game over in this area. It'll become pretty apparent why that is. I hope you don't mind I'm not talking. I just feel like the ambience. Oh my god! Okay. I'm sorry. I just can't help it. I just need to sound like I'm having a stroke. So yeah, in case it wasn't clear what the problem is. Oh, and we're out. Okay. So that's pretty intense. I can understand if you have trouble getting through that. It's pretty spooky. Not gonna lie. Spooky scary. So we're gonna get talked at for a while. And I mean we're really gonna get talked at. Samus! Look at that portrait. Look at this. When I was a kid, I had no clue what Samus was supposed to look like in this. I did play Zero Mission. I do like Zero Mission. In fact, I should have talked about Zero Mission. Zero Mission is one of the ways that, like, a lot of people say that game is, like, hand-holdy, and this game is hand-holdy. I don't think I agree with that, because it is a linear game. It's meant to lead you on, and like there's an experience that's designed for you. You shouldn't expect, like, even if your expectations are like broken, that shouldn't break the game. That's not a reason to say the game's bad. If it's like it's not what I wanted, like apple juice. If you ask for orange juice and they give you apple juice, like that's, I admit, understandably, you can get upset. But That doesn't mean the apple juice is just bad because you didn't want it. It's just juice. But no, Zero Mission. Zero Mission does what Super Metroid really should have done, and it's that, which is good because it's the next game in the series. Or, well, it's an improved version of what came before, which is what every single future game should ever do, is improve on the last one if they ever do the same format. That the same format part is important. Oh, E-Tank. I want that. But what Zero Mission does is basically when you get any of important power up in that game, or sometimes just at random, they'll give you a little marker on the map. They just mark a point on the map for you. Oh god! Balls! No, they mark a point on their map. You morph ball into like a Chozo statue, sort of like how you do in Super Metroid at some points, and then it marks a little spot in your map. Just a spot. That's it. That's all it had to do. Okay, we're gonna cheese the shit out of him. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Oh god, another one? Is it over? Yeah, it's over. No, it marks like a tiny little mark on your map. And you're like, okay, I understand now. Am I supposed to go down here? I think so. We're almost at the final boss. We're almost at Ridley. I mean, technically we are near the final boss too. Okay, get ready for Ridley. I'll continue what I was talking about after this. Or maybe I'll just talk about it. Ridley is loud, by the way. I'm not gonna talk for this. Just listen. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I love this Ridley fight. It's probably not that loud because I turned the volume down a lot, but it's loud. It's pretty loud. But to talk about Zero Mission again, so you get like a power up, or you are on the main path to progress through the game, and they mark a little thing on your map. They don't tell you what to do. They don't tell you how to get there, and they don't tell you what you're looking for. They just say that there's something there, and that if progressing the game in the intended path is what you want to do, then you should go there. And that's great. Because to go back to that getting lost in a forest analogy, it's basically like, if someone gave you a map and just said, here is where you are, and here is some treasure, here's a compass, go find the treasure. And all of a sudden, now it's not like you're being lost, it's like, there's something to look forward to. There's something to go find. You can actually, you have a direction, so now you can start looking at the things around you. You can take relative, like, directions. It's now a treasure hunt and not a... It's a hunt, not a treasure or wander around and get lost. Train of thought is already, like, again? I hate to repeat myself. Bam! Perfect execution. Alright, game's nearly over. And I mean nearly over. We're reaching the part where I saved. And I hope I hope the video comes out fine. Because it's nearly been 2 hours. I could certainly try to record another session, but I'd be kind of burned out if I did. Does any of this look familiar to you? I hope it does. Remember when I said all those times ago? So, there's missiles here. Again, we don't need missiles. But we're just gonna go. So now, this is the part that confused me, is those blobby things that are lying around. Because when I was a kid, I had no clue what a fuck a Metroid was. Like, I knew the Samus was this, and I knew that a Metroid was, like a blobby thing that seals your soul. But what a Metroid was to me was like, I don't know, the final boss of this game is a Metroid. And I didn't know that. I had no clue what it was. I just thought it was a thing. And it's kind of funny thinking about how, like, child me just never understood that. Oh, right, we're talking. Yeah, we're gonna get blabbed at a lot. I could fast forward this because I might be able to get this under 2 hours of recording time. Again, I don't know if YouTube will let me upload this in one segment. This might be like a bunch of 15-minute segments or maybe a couple of 30-minute segments. That's why they stopped sending you support data, blah blah blah. So okay, so in case you don't understand what's going on, the SAX is an X parasite that turned into Samus's suit because it's organic or something. Don't ask me. So the Galactic Federation is similar to how those Metroids from the restricted area were being preserved. The Federation wants to do something with the X, but Samus understands that the X are very dangerous. That they just touch you and you die. So Samus is like, this is a bad idea, but the Galactic Federation is like, we want to experiment with them. So they were saying how they were stopping sending us power-ups because they didn't want us to kill the X completely. So right now Samus is plotting to destroy the station to prevent the Federation from doing anything. So the computer has locked us in, and we're gonna talk about it. We have like a domestic problem. Who is Adam? And what would this friend do? Self-destruct style. Did this Adam care for you? Would he sit in a safe commands room and order you to die? He would understand that some must live and some must die. He knew what it meant. My phone is getting notifications. I should read them. He made that sacrifice once, so he chose life for you. Our pharaoh warrior Samus Oranos, your Adam, give his life so that you might keep yours. Yours. For the sake of the universe. How foolish. How dare you. How could you understand the machine? I'm speaking like a German. I please, I'm not racist. I'm just making silly accents. Maybe it's like Russian. You know what it says? Blah 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 blah. So the computer is saying that destroying the station is a bad idea. So what he suggests instead is to fling the space station into an asteroid belt, which I'm assuming like the I don't know if it's like atmospheric friction would like obliterate the station is what he means, but he basically means that the complete like the destruction of the ship would result in not enough force to kill a parasite, but burning it into cinders into an asteroid belt will certainly do the trick. I mean, I'm not a space scientist. No, not astronomer. Is that what astronomers do? Astronomers study stars. What do you call people who study just space in general? Scientists? Physicists? There's probably a word for it. NASA. Just NASA, period. But no, the game's over. We're about to go beat the game. Sadly, I never hit the 2 hour under mark, but this is a slow speedrun. So yes, this is the game is over phase. We're gonna go kill the final boss. One's energy tank short of usual. But if you ever have trouble fighting this boss, don't worry, I'll show you how to do it. Why is that blocked off? It's my ship. I can't go to my ship? What? I guess I'd have to go through like the other way. The underpass. Boring. Whatever. We're gonna go kill him. This is I guess I shouldn't have spoiled that there was a boss coming up. I can't jump. Misa no jump. Speaking of jumping, have you played Odyssey? 'Cause that no, I won't talk about it. I don't want to talk like have a 30-minute rant about Mario Odyssey. But to sum up my thoughts, filler moons. Again, not a bad game, just a filler game. So what's going on? It's oh god, he can jump. My weakness. He's almost dead. Yeah. So, and again, we're gonna... Yeah, this is how it's going. Remember when I said I had too many missiles? Yeah, we have too many missiles. That was it. That's not the final boss, but that was a boss, I think. Yeah, okay, time to leave. Goodbye. Okay. This is obligatory in every Metroid game ever. We're just gonna casually, briskly leave. Because honestly, I swear to god, if I get hit by the final boss, I'm gonna be so upset. Because I almost never get hit by the final boss. But sometimes I get impatient. I actually don't know if the final boss, if it's better to charge shot or just spam the B button. I think it is better to just press the charge shot him. But we'll see. Cause yeah, no, wave beam is awesome. Like, do you remember the fight with Ridley? I didn't use a single missile because missiles are pointless. Alright, I can just charge. I can screw attack, right? So, oh my goodness, it's all ruined and stuff, and it messes up your movement. So we're gonna go over here and what? It's space! Oh my god! Ugh! Kill me! Kill me now! Do it! Okay. Yeah. So that happened. What is this? It's that! It's doing the thing! Whoa! Why is it doing that? It took me a while to realize that that's a Metroid and that's an X-Parasite, and they hate each other. That was like the whole point of why this game still exists. Alright. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm peeking the audio again. I forgot. You can just cheese him. You can just mash it. I forgot. That's great. I love this game. Yeah. Final boss is kind of easy, but I mean, that is sort of a flaw of this game. But I can't be too mad at it. Whoosh. I like how I completely glazed over the fact that the animals are here. Like before, when we got them out of the animal conservation, whatever. That's a Metal Gear Solid 5 thing. But I didn't even bother talking about that there were animals and I saved them. Because yes, canonically they're alive. I did save them when I played Super Metroid. Because they're animals. I don't remember when I was talking about animals. I don't condone random death animals. I mean, we did just destroy an entire space station, so I can't act too superior about that kind of about my actions, but given the opportunity, I would save an animal. Because animals do something. Do not worry, one of them will understand. One of them must. I made that sound like a total goofball. I could just fast forward this. But, that's the game. Game's over. We're just gonna get blabbed at for a little bit. I'm stretching. I'm sorry. If you don't like hearing that stretch, or me speaking while I stretch, this is a really pixelated Samus. Also, if they ever make a future Metroid game, I have no clue how they're going to explain her suit. If they ever want her to lose her powers again. Because technically now they're like organically attached to her body. Blah 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 blah. So I guess that's the end of this. 2 hours, 6 minutes. This took. I'll have to see what my in-game time is. I might fast forward to the credits because they're credits, bro. You don't. I mean, the people who made this game, great. I love you guys, but I've seen their credits too many times. I guess I'll leave it to go. Anyway, if you've watched this whole video, or series of videos, if I happen to cut this down to segments, if YouTube doesn't allow me to upload it, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my rambling. This was fun. This game's fun. I love this game. But it's over now. I certainly won't be playing it again for a while, because I'm sort of burned out. But I'll probably make more videos, just because I like this whole talking thing. It's fun. So if you watched this and you enjoyed it, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I am just one person, so it really means a lot if someone out there is watching this and is like, hey, that was pretty entertaining. I feel entertained. That's what I want to do. I'm not here. I mean, making money through monetization is cool, especially since I'm poor. But my real goal is to just have fun. And if you're watching this and you have fun too, then I'm glad. If you want to see more videos from me, feel free to suggest any simple games. If I'm gonna play any other games, it's probably Wario Land 4, just because that's also a game I haven't played in a while. Preferably games that I can like emulate easily, because again, I don't have a capture card, so I can pretty much only record things on my computer, and I can't emulate a lot of things. There are a lot of classic games out there, Game Boy games, SNES games. They're pretty easy to emulate. There's a lot of games out there. DS games too, so if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comments. But that's it. So for our reward, we get that. Yes. 120. 120. Come on, it's 2 hours and 8 minutes. 32%. Not bad. Quote unquote, not bad. See you next mission. And I will see you all next time then. Fare thee well. Have a good day.